day at the mill. And all I see is a pile of bills.
Bankruptcies are on the rise. Oh no, that's not something you ever want to hear, is it? Bankruptcies are on the rise. And the only reason we're talking about bankruptcies again is, well, there's two reasons. One, it seems to get views, right? So if I write bankruptcy on the thumbnail, more people seem to want to at least check out what the hell I'm talking about. But I mean, they are on the rise. That is actually, in fact, the case. They will probably rise higher before they start to drop again. And although I did not actually go bankrupt, I do know a thing or two about being literally on the verge of bankruptcy. And so I keep meaning to talk about, you know, how things went for me back in the, I don't want to call them good old days, but compared to now, those were definitely the good old days. And it's time that we make real estate great again, folks. In case you didn't notice the hat, I think it's genius. Because, I mean, does anything else really matter? Does anything else really matter? Hello there, Charlotte. Must be warm in your house. T-shirt time. Well, you know what? I ran out of witty sweatshirts, and it gets rather hot in here by the end of this thing. And I wanted to wear my Steve Karish shirt, my Karish Real Property NASA shirt. Because one, it's comfy, and two, it's super cool. And who doesn't love Steve Karish? I mean, honestly. But yeah, so bankruptcy is an interesting animal, and it's a lot more fun to do it here in Canada than it is in the States. I don't think it's as easy to get away with things by just going bankrupt when you're in the States, because there they seem to really try and avoid it, and here it's really not that hard. And you know what? There's only so much blood you can squeeze from a stone. But before we get into this, bankruptcies are on the rise, and I have some stuff to go over, some of which is from ChatGPT, our research department. But check this out. Like, this is great. Joe Rogan is talking about our prime minister, current prime minister, because he still hasn't left, the bastard. I'm going to, there you go. Let's see how the sound works and everything works. Hopefully it works.
And it works in America because we have the First Amendment and we have the Second Amendment. And those two things work together. And if we didn't have those things, we would be genuinely fucked. Because every government wants to eventually completely and totally control its population because it's way easier for them to make money. And that's what they like to do.
Yeah.
They like to make money. They like to be in bed with the lobbyists in the military-industrial complex and the pharmaceutical-industrial complex. And they like to fucking impose their will on people. And if you can't express yourself and say, hey, this is fucked up, this is crazy, why am I doing this? Like, these studies show that you're not correct. Like, if you can't say all those things, which right now you can't do in Canada.
You see, he's Joe Rogan calls PM Justin Trudeau a fuckhead and a sucker.
It's not the same. Like, their ability to express themselves on the internet has been severely limited.
This is why I don't get as many views as I believe I should. This is why I'm being suppressed, because everything's Trudeau, F Trudeau, and all kinds of stuff. I don't go along with the narrative.
It's real weird, man. It's real weird, and it's happening right. You could walk there. If you wanted to, you could walk there. And it's fucked.
Right? Like, we share the same piece of land, but like on this side of the line, we're fucked up. We're crazy. We've gone off the deep end, off the rails. It's insane. Like, literally insane. Not that they didn't go insane too. I mean, it's pretty insane in the States. It's pretty sad that in Canada, we're considered more fucked up than the States are right now. That's crazy. Like, really crazy.
It's like it's on the same patch of land as us, and it's fucked. It just shows you what can happen here if you don't have the right laws. Because people like that fuckhead, Justin, they pretend
You guys
that
aren't.
That fuckhead Justin.
what can happen here if you don't have the right laws. Because people like that fuckhead, Justin,
Let's hear it again.
laws. Because people like that fuckhead, Justin, people like that fuckhead, Justin, people like that fuckhead, fuckhead, that fuckhead, people like that fuckhead, Justin.
Yeah.
They pretend
You guys
that
are on first
they're-
name basis.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
cocksucker. They
Cock
pretend
sucker.
that they're, and I don't talk this way about anybody.
No, I'm really surprised.
I genuinely despise people like that. And I think it's good to say it publicly because people need to understand like what these people are doing. These people are leading you on the road to legitimate communism. Like he's leading that country on a road to legitimate communism.
Wow. Right? Like, this is how bad it is here in Canada right now that they're talking about us all over the world. And they're talking about us. Joe Rogan talks about us all the time. There's so many American broadcasts that talk about how fucked up we are in Canada right now. And this whole thing with tariffs in the 51st state doesn't really help things from our perspective, does it? Is anything happening in the chat before I start blabbering again? 386 subs. Boom. Okay, well, that's a start. Now Joe has to talk about Carney and Freeland. That's right. I mean, I don't know how much he knows about those two jokers, but I guess they are both officially in the race, right? We have Mark Trudeau now in the race officially, running for the Liberal Party's leadership. Mark Trudeau against Chrystia Freeland. What great choices they have in the Liberal Party. Now, we can only hope as human beings that are somewhat rational and have some logic. I mean, I imagine if you're here watching this show that you do like to use logic some of the time. But those two are from the World Economic Forum, right? I heard, did you see there's a picture? I wonder, do I have this picture of Carney pulling up in his limousine, which is made by Rolls-Royce? Mark Carney no, probably not. This is the Liberal Messiah. Is this it? No, that's not it. But do you want to hear this guy, Mark Carney? This guy, holy jumping Jesus. Like, can we get a more boring guy? I mean, I'm okay with a boring guy at the helm, okay? And actually, quite honestly, the other day, we talked about it, and I was quite impressed, really, with his appearance on the Daily Show, was it? Was it the Daily Show? Let me see if I can find that video, because I think it's actually, he did do a good job, which is annoying, because, I mean, I hear he's evil, and I hear all kinds of things about how evil he is. Okay, here he is on the Daily Show a few days ago.
Up there of the overtures and sort of trolling to Canada about being a part of the United States?
Well, I mean, the bottom line is not going to happen. Due respect.
Who's cheering right now? Is there like a bunch of Canadians in the crowd that are cheering right now? Or is it people in the States that are cheering that it's not going to happen? Who's cheering there live on the Daily Show that it's not going to happen?
That
The overture. I mean,
because you don't want
well,
to be with.
we're we're proud. We find you very attractive,
See, this was comedic genius, actually.
but
Here it goes.
we're not moving in with you. It's not you. It's us.
It's not you, it's me. Very funny. Well done. Good job.
We do things a little differently in Canada. We
Sure.
we believe in
I just want to
providing.
before you go any further.
Yeah.
I'm up for it. We're up for it. Whatever you do differently. We want to experiment too. What do you guys want?
We can be
You want like
we can be friends. There can be a few benefits.
He looks like George Bush from the side. Do you think he's got some Bush in him? Do you think he's got some George W. Bush in him? I don't know. He's a billionaire. He's run 2 central banks now, 2 different countries' central banks. How experienced do you have to be, and in what, to be able to do that? And then why him? And why him now for prime minister? Has this guy been in politics before?
It's John. Friends with benefits.
Is there a fear
Friends with benefits. Like, he's really funny.
now that there will be an economic trade war with Canada? How much of this do you believe is bluster, and how much preparation do you need to do for it?
Well, we have to prepare for it. And I think, you look at what happened 5-6 years ago when we did have a similar situation with the trade war.
But that was only
states.
on lumber, and there was only a few things.
Lumber's very important to us, John.
Lumber is very important to us.
It's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right?
Bush.
Why do I feel like I feel like you're breaking up with me the entire interview? This is all.
Ha 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 ha. Okay, so I mean, I feel like he did a pretty good job there, right? Representing, and I don't know. I thought he was entertaining for sure. I felt comfortable with him, at least at the helm of the Liberal Party. The real fuck up is like if people talking conspiracy theories about him becoming the next prime minister without even having an election. That somehow the next leader of the Liberal Party will just automatically become the prime minister. Is this a fact? Can anybody speak to this? You're not very chatty for a chat group, I gotta say. I mean, there are 8 of you here, a whole 8 people here. Wow, we're breaking records today, aren't we? But if you're here, say something, for crying out loud. I mean, what else are you doing? Really? But regardless, that Mark Carney guy, I want to find a picture of his Rolls Royce, actually. Mark Carney, Rolls Royce. Mark Carney shows up to leadership announcement in a Rolls Royce. Okay, this is crazy, isn't it? Well, can you imagine? Oh, what the hell did I do? Okay, I'm just trying to zoom in. This is what this dude is pulling up in, okay? Why do these billionaires want to be running countries? I mean, what do billionaires do? They like to make money, right? So why in the fucking world would he be doing this, honestly? I feel like something's up. Mark Carney just told Canadians that the Canada we know and love is over. Notice the people in the background here. Let me zoom in here. I mean, she might be Canadian, but I know you guys don't agree with me that there's a look of Canadian, but I'd say he looks Canadian, okay? She doesn't look Canadian, okay? He looks Canadian. I'd say she looks pretty Canadian. I'd say she kind of looks Canadian. Her, him, this kid, they don't look Canadian. But anyways, I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just trying to point something out. So he's saying that the Canada we know and love is over and that hard times are ahead for Canada. Uh-oh. This is the liberal messiah. Let's hear what this guy has to say. And I hope that you guys are seeing what I'm seeing and that everything is working. Let's go back.
Old times, my friends, are over. Our times are anything but ordinary.
We need to put the Undertaker music behind this thing.
The system, it's not working as it should.
Okay.
And it's not working as it could.
Okay.
People are anxious. No wonder.
Watch this kid. He's got to pee.
Too many are falling behind. Too many young people can't afford a home.
This kid's like, how long do I have to stand here for this shit? And look at this guy back here. Watch the kids that are... Why are there kids behind Mark Carney at this press conference? Like, what are they... Do they give a shit about politics yet? No. It's to show a diversified Canada.
Too many people can't find a doctor.
Did you guys hear that there are parts of Canada where people are waiting like 8 years for a doctor? I feel like it was in the East Coast that it's so bad that people are on waiting lists for years to find family doctors. Is this insane? Like, we have these great 4K cameras that are on us all the time. Can't we just like Zoom call a doctor and say, hey, look at this rash, man. What do you think this is? Give me some cortisone cream.
And then we're living through the two biggest technological revolutions since they split the atom.
Is this
And
true?
our climate is changing in ways that threatens livelihoods from Fort Mac to Fort Smith.
Where are we on the whole global warming thing? Do we believe that global warming is a thing? Are we into this whole global warming thing? Do we still buy it? Is it getting warmer? I'm looking at snow. I just shoveled. I don't feel like global warming is working at the moment.
And then on top of that, as George just mentioned, in just 4 days, the United States will swear in Donald Trump.
Okay, the whole point is that this guy is boring and he is negative. And, like, why would you vote for that? Don't you want to see somebody who's like, rah, 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 like, we're going to have change. We're going to have change. It's time for a change. Like Pierre. Pierre's all about change right now, right? Anyway, so Mark Carney did that. And we're still not talking about bankruptcies. Okay, so here we go. Bankruptcies are on the rise. And what is this here? Ooh, we have a chart, everyone. We have a chart or a graph. I think this is a chart. Bankruptcies in Canada increased to 374 companies in November from 332 companies in October. What's that? 42 more? Okay. Bankruptcies in Canada averaged 344.46 companies from 2004 to 2024, reaching an all-time high of 872. When? Okay. Anyways, you can see that they are on the rise. And I guess, you know, they were on the decline not too long ago, it seems, as well. So is this really such a big deal? I don't know. Hopefully it gets a bunch of views, though. But, I'm not supposed to do that. Sorry. But here, we got bankrupt, all these stats that are probably horseshit. But look at this. Why is this such a big deal? Why are people talking? Look, because they're ticking up a little bit here. Look how much they dropped. I guess people weren't going bankrupt for a while because they had handouts and free money and... yeah, why weren't people going bankrupt for the last year? I mean, this seems silly. And why are we saying that they're starting to go up now? I think it's a whole big scam. Is the bankruptcy thing a scam? What did ChatGPT say? Here, check this out. Recent data and reports suggest that bankruptcies in Canada are indeed on the rise. Here's a summary based on available information. Business insolvencies. There has been a significant increase in business insolvencies in Canada. For instance, business insolvencies jumped by more than 41% in 2023, marking one of the highest increases in decades. This trend continued into 2024 with a reported 41.4% rise year over year for the second quarter of 2024, reaching levels not seen since the 2009 financial crisis. This increase has been attributed to a combination of factors, including the end of pandemic support, rising interest rates, and economic slowdown. That's businesses. Okay, consumer insolvencies. Similarly, there's been an uptick. Okay, blah, 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 with 12.4% year-over-year rise in the second quarter. Okay, anyways, it looks like they're on the rise. And so future outlook, experts, like that's a real thing. Okay, experts anticipate that this trend might continue into 2025 due to ongoing, so it doesn't take a genius to figure that one out, I don't think. But definitely going to see bankruptcies on the rise in the next year. But look where they were coming from. I mean, that's a little misleading. Oh, we've got people in the chat. Okay, who's here? Robert. Hello, Robert. Carney, Freeland, both stating canceling the carbon tax. Well, thank you for bringing that up, because that is absolutely unbelievable. I was actually just watching something about that before, and I don't even think I put that in my notes for today's show. Maybe I did. I'd have to check. But yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, what a turnaround, right? How did that happen? How did they all of a sudden both decide? Because if you go back in the annals of history, okay, if you go back into the history books or TikTok or, somewhere, you're going to see that both those bastards are... Uh-oh, I pressed something. What can you see? Is everything okay on your end? Did I screw this up? Is everything cool? Uh-oh. Is everything good? Did I screw up the stream? I hope I didn't. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, all good. Thanks, Robert. Whew, what was I talking about? Okay, so both of these guys somehow miraculously, both on the same day, tell us that it's time to axe the carbon tax because it's stupid. It was a neutral tax. Who makes a tax to bring in to just give it back to you as a rebate? Whose fucking great idea was that? You know what? I think it will help us by taking more money from them and then making them fill out paperwork and giving it back. Genius level stuff here, folks. And now all of a sudden, after both of these guys for, almost a decade, were pushing the carbon tax down our throats, and we took it. We took it like champs. We got drilled down our throats with the carbon tax, and we took it like champs, and we're about to take it on the chin again. More carbon tax coming up, unless everybody has decided. It looks like everybody's going to get rid of the carbon tax. Isn't that wonderful? And they're also talking about quantitative easing. They're easing again. They're not really saying it, but they're saying it in a very roundabout way. Check out Mark Mitchell's new video that came out today. What the hell's going on? What is happening there? What do I have going on there? Why is Mark Carney on the screen? Do you guys see Mark Carney on the screen still? Is my stream all fucked up? I don't know what the hell's going on here. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Or is there like a massive delay on this thing? Anyways. Everything is hunky-dory and everything will be fine because Mark Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland are on the scene. And we can only pray. We can only pray as logic-using Canadians, okay? We can only pray right now that everybody still wants to vote for Pierre, okay? Because if they decide that they're going to not vote for Pierre anymore, we are in a heap of trouble. Can you imagine if it somehow swings the other way? And somehow, all of a sudden, it's liberal again with that NDP bastard Singh. Oh, my God. Hey, if you're here and you haven't subscribed to the channel, wherever that is, please do that. Hit the like button if you haven't done it. Say something in the comments, because we've only got Robert and Charlotte, and I'll be honest with you guys. Like, you need some help here. When does QE start again? Robert, did you watch his video? Did you watch Mark Mitchell's video? Because he's talking about it. He's talking about it today. QE is on the way. And what does that do to real estate prices? What does that do to real estate prices? I think real estate prices go up when they start doing quantitative easing again. Whatever they're going to call that damn thing. Anyways, what else did I want to talk about? Yes, Mark Mitchell. I am from London, Ontario. Russell Matthews also had a great video. Lending starts pumping. Well, based on what I've seen out there right now, maybe on houses, it's starting to loosen up. I don't think that that's the case at all, though. Definitely on land, it has not loosened up at the moment. Hopefully, it's about to. This is a great time to mention my wonderful property in Forest Hill that was just approved this week that I am super excited about. I am super excited about that. Darryl, you are from GTA in London, Ontario. Just such a different market, Lowell. I'll bet it is a completely different market out there. I have met people from out there, and they are definitely a different type of people. Not in a bad way, just a different kind of person, right? And, of course, their market would be different. And, I mean, listen, the price point is considerably different, and that brings a different kind of population, doesn't it? And it's also really fucking far from things, right? And I suppose if you grew up in London, then everything, would be and seem convenient. But if you come from this place, this hellscape called Toronto, then, it's hard to get used to other things. It's hard to get used to that slower life and, be more chill and be friendly all the time. It's hard to get used to that. But if you're here, hit a button. Ideally subscribe, but not necessary. Definitely got to hit the like, because why are you here? Okay? Just hit a like, and then please comment. Other than Robert and Charlotte. But you guys keep going, though, because, say hi 4 times in a row for me. Maybe then somebody will join this thing. And maybe we'll get up to the other day. How did we get up to 30 people or 32 people one time? Now we can't even break friggin' 11. It's not cool. Not cool at all. Give me some hearts here. I'm going to give myself a heart. Heart, 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 heart. Heart, heart, heart. Happy face. Happy face. Happy face. Okay. Enough of that nonsense. Hey, you know who is trying to save the country? Me. I'm trying to save the country. Do you want to see something cool? Do you guys want to see the 3D model for the Forest Hill project? This is so cool. Here, check this out. Okay. Look at that. Look what I can do. Oh, I should learn how to use it. Whoa. How cool is that? We can rotate it around. We can rotate it around. Look at that. Look at the rooftop terrace on this bad boy, eh? If you got money, right now, your terrace is going to be like all this, all the way around, and up to this here, all this. How friggin' amazing is that? Look how big the balconies are. Look, and they go in. Those are big. They don't look so big on the plans. How cool is it to have this, though, huh? Am I lucky or what? I get to play with my model all the day. And I can, whoa. Look at the entrance. Just beautiful. Anyways, enough of that. I don't know if that worked because I don't know what's going on today. I feel like there's a giant friggin' lag on this thing. Okay, hi. We can't see it. You can't see it? You couldn't see the model there? Am I having a problem here? Hold on a second. I'm just playing with the model and it wasn't working? Oh, God. Well, You see, this is what happens when you get an old man trying to be on technology, okay? This is what happens. So, oh, now I just screwed up everything, okay? We're going to have to do the model another day because I don't know where it went. It has disappeared, and I apologize. Okay, let's see. Doug Ford is on the scene again. Watch Doug Ford really does want to be Captain Canada. If it doesn't say, yeah, this is good, actually. This I enjoyed quite thoroughly.
Going into your local retailer, look at the back of the label. If it doesn't say made in Canada, pick the can beside it that does say made in Canada. And that goes to our retailers. A message to all our retailers, all the grocery retailers, other retailers. Start onshoring goods to Canada. Start looking at made in Canada.
Wow.
If we get hit by a tariff and our costs go up, I'd rather pay a few more cents to go to a Canadian supplier, someone that's producing right here in Canada. If you remember back in the pandemic, when President Trump cut us off on the N95 masks.
Did we really need those masks? Was that really something that we needed? I don't think we really needed them, but I guess that's a whole other topic, isn't it? But Mr. Ford is all about a hand for a hand and an eye for an eye.
Everyone remembers that? We went and said enough is enough, and we brought 3M.
Look at this little bitch here, sitting there with that little grin. I hate him. I fucking hate him. Why is he there?
Remembers that? We went and said enough is
Look at that face. It just makes me want to punch it.
enough.
And this guy looks like that fucker that stole all that money from me. So between this motherfucker's little puss and this fat fuck that reminds me of that bastard that robbed me of $500,000, I'm getting heated up here.
And we brought 3M with the cooperation with the federal government.
Anyways, this moron is not wrong. We should be onshoring stuff. We should be making stuff here in Canada. Like, why can't we make tables here in Canada, for example? Okay? Like a dining table, for example. Why is that not something that could be made here? It's like 4 legs and a top, okay? If you want to get fancy, I mean, do you really need young Asian children to slap together the tables? Can we not do it here? Maybe a mixture of robotics and humans. But does it have to be done overseas and then shipped here? Can't we just... I think we live in a world right now where you could go on a website, make a table, and it could like be printed in your house. So like, anyways, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about right now. So we're here because we like talking about bankruptcy. And I, for one, was extraordinarily close at one point in my life to throwing in the towel. And I'll tell you, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, 50%. Anyways, however many people in Canada are, you know, living paycheck to paycheck and basically insolvent and, you know, like one credit card application rejection away from being bankrupt. I mean, that is a horrible position to be in. An absolute horrible position to be in. And so from experience, it's not fun, and it's you know, you most people, they don't just go around telling everybody that they're on the verge of bankruptcy. So in my case, for example, I guess there were a couple times. So where should we go? Let's go to a point in time, because it was all really from this. So if we go back to like 2008, 2009, and I had built a couple of houses. So we go back to 2006, and I was a big, stupid guy. I built my first house, made a little bit of money, decided to build 2 houses. Took a giant risk, other people's money, and the market turned, and it did not go well. I had to sell everything. I had to cut back on everything. It was a disaster. I think it was 2009, I guess. But like, while this is all going on, right? While I'm, listing my house and crying with my wife and dealing with family and dealing with clients or actually, I guess at that point in time, it was trying to get new clients, right? All with a brave face to the public that like nothing is actually going on, right? Everything's fine, right? Yeah, I got these 2 houses sitting here forever, right? But everything's fine. And nobody really knew that it wasn't fine, right? And so, if you can build houses, people want to hire you for stuff. And thank God for that. Although in hindsight, that was the wrong move. Definitely the wrong move. But I personally can speak to what it's like to feel like, or to really, I should have gone bankrupt. That would have been actually way easier. Do you want to know the honest to God truth? Bankruptcy would have been way easier than the route that I decided to take. And my ego and my pride took me on a ride that cost me a frick ton of money, to be honest, and a hell of a lot longer time to dig myself out of the ridiculously stupid size hole that I dug myself, right? And so what's interesting is that when you have no money, you don't have to go bankrupt, right? And if you can figure out a way to make enough money or borrow enough money, to keep it going until, everybody's got the mentality that they, I just need the next deal. I just need the next score. Not everybody. The guys who decide to go bankrupt don't, right? Rock the Casbah. Sup, D-man? Sup, Rock the Casbah. How are you? How's it going? Rose Overdose. Oh, hello. Hello. Is Dawn here? I don't think Dawn's here. Hello, Rose Overdose, if that is your real name. Okay, Robert. Why would I build furniture when I can live lavish being a realtor? Well, you don't have to do it. I'm just saying, like, we could do it here, right? We could do it here. There's no reason why we can't. It's not hard. I don't know why that costs so much less building it in China and then shipping it across the planet. And I was in the furniture business, for God's sakes. So I don't know what that is. Oh, Dawn is here. Hey, Dawn. Hey, guys, let's talk it up a little bit more, okay? A little bit more talking here. A little bit more talking in the frickin' comments section, will you? Let's get this party rocking. I want to get back up to 30-something because this 11 level is not doing it for me. So hit the like button, guys. Sub, comment, make something happen. Let's go. All right. 2008, when there wasn't a 66% capital gains tax. Oh, yeah. There was not. CRA still charging, even though, yeah, okay. Well, that's another story, isn't it? Is that part of this thing? Is this part of this thing? Silverchair, he's here again. He, Silverchair. Inventory flood when? What do you mean inventory flood when? Are you on Earth? Are you available at the moment? Have you seen Realtor.ca? There is a lot of inventory flooding. And guess what? You see all those cranes that we used to be so impressed with ourselves over? You know those cranes? Well, they're creating the flood right now, right? So like if the flood wasn't bad enough already, and what do we have on the market? Way too many piece of shit condos for people to rent or buy, right? I don't know how many. It must be like 20,000 they're saying right now. Maybe it's more, right? It's Straight Dan, by the way. Okay, thank you. Oh, Straight Dan from Twitter? from X, previously known as Twitter. Is that you? Rock the Casbar. I'm about to create my own inventory in the form of a commune in Northern Ontario. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, good luck with that. I wish you all the luck in the world. You know, you should connect the commune to the city via a boring tunnel and Tesla automated robo-taxis. And not because I haven't thought this through completely, but that'd be cool. And you have to build everything with 3D printers and robotics. Okay? If that's what we're talking about, I could be into that. Okay. Yeah, it's me. I mean, SFD is gonna flood hard. Single family dwellings gonna flood hard? When? Why? How? How's single family gonna flood hard? I don't see it. I don't see it. Why do you think that single family is going to flood hard? If it hasn't yet, what is going to tip the scales, right? If they're going to start the quantitative easing, doesn't that mean that the bond rates will come down and bring down the interest rates with it? What makes you think that? Hold on a sec. It already is. It already is flooded? I'll halfers with you, D-man. On the commune? All right, DM me. Let's talk about it. Okay, we'll get the 3D printed, roboticized, AI tunneled commune so that we can come off of our hippie commune every morning and go make some real money developing property in the big city. Now we're talking, right? Living on a commune all night, having a party, living it, off grid, and then going in the city and making some money. Can we do that? Can we do that? There's lots to choose from. The prices are just insane. There really isn't that much to choose from if you're a buyer. Okay. If you're just looking at like numbers, okay, and you see, oh, there's like 8 in the area. Okay. Well, are there 8 that I would like to buy in the area, or is there just 8 in the area? And then obviously pricing is a factor, but like, what if I need 3 bathrooms? Or what if you're like my family and you can't really live without 4 bathrooms, right? 1 per person. Okay. What if you need 2 laundries like this place? Okay. What if you need a pool, right? Like what if you, so is there 8 for me really? Or is there just 8? Right? It's like, you know, you get to the grocery store and you want Coca-Cola and all they have is cola, right? I mean, that's not the same, right? It's not the same. So there's demand maybe, but there's no supply. And there's neither. So it doesn't really matter. And that's probably why you haven't seen the flood either, because people are fucking waiting as long as they can for the right time. Right? They're waiting as long as they can for the right time and hoping that prices don't go down, right? Hoping that prices go up, which, I mean, I'm hoping prices go up too. I'm hoping that, like, really the worst is behind us and we're ready to print money and save this thing. Make real estate great again, everybody, because that's how I make my money. And I like making money, and I would like to continue making a lot of money. And although I feel very confident that I can in this market, it's much easier when things are going up, like much easier. Now, having said that, I think that we won't see a flood of single-family houses, but Silver Chair is going to laugh me off of Twitter. Okay, let's see. Silverchair. Look at the 2+ million range in the burbs. Basically, nothing sells. People will flood the markets once they realize the homes aren't worth what they used to be. Well, that's a horrible time to sell once you realize that it's not worth what it used to be. I mean, if you can afford it still, then it's really kind of like, okay, let's buckle up. Let's hang in there for 10 years, maybe 12 years, and hope that we at least don't lose money nominally, right? Or hope that these bastards inflate the shit out of it so that we can get back to things. But I don't think you're going to get to an environment where like your purchasing power is like it was in 1985 again, and salaries are going to catch up. And like, I just don't think you're going to see it here. Now, across Canada, I mean, there's so many options now, right? You could go lots of places and live a beautifully affordable life in Canada with all the benefits that everybody says are benefits of Canada. And maybe they're better. Maybe healthcare is better in Saskatchewan and Winnipeg because it's not flooded like in Toronto, right? I mean, maybe we need more resources here in Toronto, for God's sakes. But like maybe Canada as a whole is not the hellscape that Toronto and Vancouver are, and things will just kind of like work themselves out. Is that possible? Maybe I should get out of Toronto and start developing in Saskatchewan. I traveled a good chunk of Southwest Ontario and trolled MLS the whole time. There is lots of good family inventory. It's just 1.3 million in know-nothing towns. Right. Well, so again, it's like, okay, if you're looking for something and there's lots of inventory, but you don't want any of it, then what good is the fucking inventory, right? This is what we have with the condos. This is what we have with the dog crate condo situation, right? I mean, if developers could find a way to bring a product out on the market that was a 2-bedroom, 1,000 square feet for something that people can afford and that they could also make money on, like they're going to do that, right? It doesn't work in too many scenarios, right? But I mean, hopefully the government starts incentivizing us to make those kind of units somehow and make them profitable. I know people don't like it when developers make fucking money for some reason, but it's kind of part of it. So they got to make it so we can make money, and they got to make it so that prices are going up, or at least that there's lots of options and prices kind of stagnate or slowly go up. I mean, everybody wants to buy a house and have the price go up. Why do people have to have it go down, right? Why does this have to fucking happen? Why can't interest rates just stay at 3% forever and everybody gets to borrow at 3% and that's just the end of it? That's the end of it. And inflation can't go past 3%. If inflation goes past 3%, then Galen Weston has to make up the difference and bring things back down to normal. Or whoever else owns the food companies that make record profit. The banks and the grocery stores, okay, and Amazon, they have to balance things out, okay? That should be the rule. So anytime inflation goes past 3% or 2%, those motherfuckers have to pay the difference. Or they just don't raise their fucking prices so much that inflation gets crazy and goes out of control. Because what else is it? Did you see the fucking gouging that they did to us? It never ended, right? Inflation goes up compounding. It doesn't like go up and go back down again, right? Like the fact that inflation is down at 2%, it means it's a 2% on top of the last 2%, on top of the last 8%, on top of the last 32%, depending on the stats you actually look at and believe, right? Depending on the stats you actually look at and believe. This is the whole conversation. Well, maybe not the whole conversation that we had with John Flint. But like, it's like, do you really trust those graphs and those charts? Like, are you willing to bet your life on those charts and those graphs and that bullshit information that the government has given to you so that they don't look as fucking bad as they really would if we had the real, actual, honest to God numbers? Those numbers are a bloody story. Bloody goddamn bunch of bullshit. The stats are lies. So what can you rely on? Right? You can rely on Darryl. You can rely on Darryl. And you can rely on TK and Steve Karish and Tom Story and other guys, right? Who are actually doing lots of transactions. Okay? And maybe you can't rely on them 100% necessarily based on what they say on air. But when you talk to all these guys, you know, they know what's going on out there, right? They know who's having trouble, what's going on, what things are selling for, how many showings things are getting. And that information is way more valuable than some fucking loser that's writing 8 paragraphs so they can make 14 cents on their article this day by throwing a bunch of bullshit that they really don't know anything about together, right? Or maybe listen to the professionals in the field that are dealing with it every day, because they're not stupid. They're not delusional, you know. They know what's going on. They're hopeful. They're not delusional, right? Where everybody's hoping to make more money again in real estate, because that's fucking fun. Okay, what's going on? We got Chris T back in the house. Marco Peruzza here. And Silverchair, I think he's busting my balls. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Look at the $2 million. We talked about that. Look at King City, Richmond Hill, LOL. What a gong show of sale overpriced listings. Look at Brampton. Brampton is a fucking disaster. Why? I don't know. I don't know what happened in Brampton. Look at these places, though, these outskirts where fucking morons convinced other fucking morons to pay $1.6 million for a 50 by 110 with a brand new house on it that doesn't even have a tree or grass, okay? And they have to have $1 million mortgage on. $1.1 million probably, right? Or they got to get 18 family members to co-sign on this stuff. Like, what? It's their fault. They're idiots for buying this stuff, okay? And, you know, you can argue that the developers are idiots for charging these extraordinary amounts of money for these things at the peak. But people were paying. Like, what is a developer supposed to do? Because don't forget, it's like everything's in the past, right? So while developers are seemingly gouging everybody, Karish Real Properties, shout out to Steve Karish from the Tom Story Show. And actually, the Canadian Real Estate Show is soon to be called the Steve Karish Show. That's at the top of the list for the rebrand. Okay, what was I talking about? I forget what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, these fucking morons that convinced other fucking morons to pay $1.6 million in Stouffville or $1.6 million in Newmarket or $1.6 million in Brampton or 2 point something million in Brampton people were paying, right? $2.8 million in Mississauga and $5 million all over the place. And people were paying this shit. And so in the subdivisions where everything was like 1.1 or 1.6 or 1.8, and while the developers were seemingly gouging everybody to death during this period, the costs were out of control. The ability to borrow money was like very, very difficult. And so you didn't know what your costs were going to be. You didn't know how long it was going to take you to build this thing. You didn't know if you were going to get all of the toilets that you needed. So like normally in a 300 unit building, you have 300 of the same toilets. And actually you have way more than 300, right? So, but if you don't get your 300 toilets and all of a sudden you don't know when the hell the rest of the toilets are coming, now you got to find more toilets from somewhere so that you can close these units, right? And not only do you have to find the difference in the amount of toilets you need, but you need to find something that works with where you roughed in all the fucking toilets, right? And so this was happening with tiles and flooring and toilets and sinks and faucets and appliances and materials to make cabinetry and literally fucking everything. And then labor was like, you couldn't get enough labor, right? Like this is part of the reason why they started bringing in all the people. It was reactionary to deal with that whole fuck up, right? And guys are going bankrupt left, right, and center because the costs, right? Because, okay, and then you got the other group of people who it's like, they sold it a couple years earlier and they finally got the fucking permits to build this stuff. And now that they got the permits to build this stuff, they can go and build, and the prices went crazy. And guys went out of business because their contracts were too low. And guys broke contracts because they were way too low, and they knew that they were going to get killed. And all kinds of shit started going on, right? So you got like these two things going on where you have guys that like have to build, but the prices are going crazy, and guys that have to sell, and they don't know what the prices are going to be when it's time to build. And how do you fucking deal with that situation, right? As it's like blowing up and everything's selling and everything's crazy and go, and everything is like, holy shit, what do we do, right? What do we do? And so obviously the answer from the developer's perspective is like, charge as much as we can fucking get, because we don't know where our costs are going to be. And we don't know what's going to be with this whole bloody thing, right? And so now what we have is like, it still feels like the good times are kind of here. And like, it doesn't feel as bad as it is because there's still 200 cranes in the sky. There's still a bunch of building going on all over the place, right? But the real fuck up is like, guys go bankrupt, projects stop. Guys go bankrupt, projects don't even start that people were counting on moving into, right? Or things get delayed, or things can't raise money, or things can't get zoning in time, or there he is, Steve Karish. There you go. Hello. It's my own basement. Is that where you live? Don? Are we fighting? Nice shirt. There you go. All right. Now it's all worthwhile. It's all worthwhile that Steve Karish is here and I am wearing a shirt. Although, if you lived here, Steve, you'd see that I wear your shirts excessively. They're great shirts. They're very comfortable. He gave one to me and he gave one to TK, and I took them both because that's just the kind of guy I am. But anyways, okay, so we're in this whole big clusterfuck, which created a bigger clusterfuck now, because now people are not going to be able to close, right? They are not going to be able to close, and we are already starting to see it, and it's going to get worse next year, right? So you got all these cranes going and all these people working, and as the crane disappears, all those guys are like, hey, boss, you going to have work for me again? You going to have work for me again? Hey, boss, do you have work for me? Are we going to be okay, boss? Should I go look for another job? And the boss is like, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. I'm working on this. I'm working on that. It's going to be okay. Maybe you're going to need a couple days off. And then everybody gets laid off and the company closes, and that guy's getting sued by everybody because he can't pay his payroll. He hasn't paid his suppliers for a while because the motherfucker building the one, decided that he's not paying anybody for 8 months, right? Because he's fucked up, right? And so all of these things are going to start to happen. Suppliers are going to close down out of nowhere because so-and-so didn't pay them. And this trade is going to disappear because this guy didn't pay him. And this project went fucking belly up, or it got delayed. And this is what's going to happen. And then you're going to have all of this labor out there turning into general contractors for renovations, right? And they're all going to somehow end up at my fucking house. Why did all the shitty guys end up at my house? Actually, yesterday we had the best plumber here. I was so happy. This young Chinese guy. I shouldn't say Chinese. I don't know if he was Chinese, and I don't want to discriminate, and I don't mean to be racist. He was a young Asian man. I'm pretty sure he was Chinese. I like to think that I can tell at least Chinese people from other Asian people. This is getting I don't mean this in a racist way at all. Okay. So let's delete this maybe from the live broadcast and let's forget about the Asian plumber. But what happens is all this extra labor needs somehow way to make money, right? So obviously if you have recently come into the country, recently come into the trades, and you decided that the spot for you is to sling concrete in these high rises all day, well, then certainly you must be experienced enough to start your own general contracting company and do people's basements, right? Because somebody asked you, do you do basements? And you said, oh, absolutely. I will just get all of my friends and we will do your basement, and I'll do it for $12,000, right? And you're like, $12,000? You're hired, okay? And then it's a goddamn disaster because nobody knows how to do anything. They barely knew how to sling concrete in that high rise. And I mean, I hope that's not really the case on some of these buildings. But, and that's that whole clusterfuck that led up to where we are right now. Mix all that in, okay? Mix all that craziness in with just pricing fluctuation and timing fuck-ups. And then, oh, I forgot. How about we raise the property taxes, right? Like what? 25% over 3 years. Because that doesn't have an effect on a $40 million property or a $90 million property or a $150 million property. I mean, that changes nothing. And I got an idea. Why don't we fucking raise not property taxes, development charges? How about we raise development charges 8,000% over a few years and nobody will notice, right? And let's raise all the other fees that we charge for development application and zoning bylaw amendment and blah, 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 and this and that and the other. And why don't we add another consultation to the list of consultations that they're going to need in order for this to go through? And then, Ronnie isn't happy with the driveway that you planned. So we're going to have another meeting with Ronnie and your architect and your planner and you, and why don't you just bring your transportation expert, and why don't you just bring your landscape architect so everybody can chastise everybody and tell them how horrible the project is because their petunias won't have fucking sunlight for 8 minutes that it used to have at 3 points in time during the year. What the fuck am I even talking about right now? Okay, right. So mixed in with all this craziness, okay? What do we got? We got labor problems, we got COVID problems, we got money problems, we got timing problems, we got government problems, right? Labor problems, we got experience problems, because like when things are good, everybody and their mother is a goddamn developer, right? Hey, are you a developer? Yeah. Are you a developer? Me too. Holy shit. You want to be partners in something? Everybody's, Murray, he's a developer too. And honestly, it's crazy in Canada. Like, if you look at the people I grew up with, how many of them are actually in real estate or construction or development? It's actually fucking insane. Finance for all this stuff. It is absolutely insane. So, but while you got all this mess going on, right? While you got all this mess going on, and we get to this crescendo that I completely forget what the hell I am talking about again, right? What the hell was the point of this whole thing, right? You got all this mess, and now what happens is somewhere along the way, you add the nail to the coffin. Okay, I think it's in 2013-ish, 12, 10, 14, I don't know. But somewhere along the way, back in the 90s, they started changing the way things worked, right? And they started doing the pre-construction and layering the contracts in a way where all the liability ends up on the end user, the buyer, right? And basically, the developer and the finance are in the clear. Right? And all these lawyers put it together and they thought that they were doing their clients a great service. Okay. And by the way, if you're here right now and you haven't said something, okay, in the chat, why? If you haven't pressed a like button, do it now because we're trying to make real estate great again. Okay. Me and Steve Karish are trying to make real estate great again and we need a little help. So press a button, press a like, make a comment, press the subscription button, hit the damn bell, and away we go. So what the fuck was I saying? Where the hell was I? Okay, we got this big mess. Okay, right. So these guys, they start playing with the contracts and they start layering them in a way where all of the liability is on the end user, okay? But it's like, how are people going to buy this stuff, right? How are people going to buy this stuff when the building won't be ready for like 7 years? right? I mean, how do you price everything when you're not going to build it for 7 years? But so they were selling stuff, and they, you know, and 60-story high rise, 40-story high rise takes like 6-7 years to build. So who's like, you know, I'm ready to start my life right now, and I think I could buy this condo and wait 5, 6, 7 years for it to be ready, and I guess I'll just live with my parents for another 7 years. I mean, it doesn't work like that. Nobody fucking wants to do that. Some people, I suppose, but most people are like, I'm getting married. Like, we need a place. You know, I want to fuck. I don't want my parent. I don't want to have to be quiet with my parents all the time. I'm married now. I want to fuck all the time, everywhere, right? You're young, hopefully, right? You're young. You want to fuck, and it's like, it's time, right? Who the fuck wants to live with their parents and is married? Me? Our house, we bought a new house, I think in 1999, up in Thornhill Woods. We were like the second people to move into Thornhill Woods. And so we bought our house, and we found out it was not going to be ready when we were married. And our parents were like, come live with us until your house is ready. And I said, the fuck I'm living with you guys? Are you guys fucking crazy? The fuck I'm living with you? We're going to rent a place. And me and my wife, we rented a place. It was a 1-bedroom apartment on Ellerslie. Okay, Young and Finch area, Ellerslie. What a great building. Such a piece of shit. We went in there with our steam buggy. You ever see the steam buggy commercial? I wonder if I can find a picture of the steam buggy. Well, this is off the rails like never before. Steam buggy, I found it. Okay, here, hold on a sec. What the fuck is this all about? Here we go. Hopefully you can see my screen. This was the steam buggy. Oh, God, the last picture was better. That was the steam buggy. This thing, you filled it up with water and it shot steam. Why it was a buggy, I have no idea. But we bought one of these steam buggies, right? And me and my wife, we cleaned the shit out of that disgusting place. And we moved in there for like 6 months while they were building our first subdivision house that we ever lived in. And we got to have lots of sex and didn't have to worry about being quiet for our parents because they didn't live with us until a few years later when they moved in with us. But that's a whole other shitty story. Okay, so now you got this these contracts, all this fuckery going on. The whole thing is just this big bubble mess going on. And what do? The nail in the coffin. Ready? You waited all this time. Here's the nail in the coffin. Finally. Assignments. What? Yeah. How are we going to sell this shit? We're going to let people assign them to somebody else before closing. Ooh, that's a good idea. Well, it wasn't. First, you have to pay like 10, 20 grand for the right to be able to assign. And probably a few people did it because they saw the value in the market and what it was doing. And that even if you paid 10, 20 grand, it was worth it. You're going to make like 100 grand, 150 grand, some people. Some people probably way more than that. And then all of a sudden, they allowed them for free. It was just part of the contract. You are allowed to assign. And it was actually the whole sales pitch. Basically, it's like, you're never going to live in this. You're never going to close in this. But over the years that you're waiting, this market, it never goes down. And so just in appreciation alone, you're going to make 100, 150 grand, and you're only going to have to put out $25,000 deposit, $20,000 deposit, $100,000 deposit. Double, triple, quadruple your money. Easy peasy, easy peasy. Right? And what the fuck did we see happen from there? What the fuck happened from there? Boom. Crazyville. I'll take 4. I'll take 6. I'll take 10. You know what? The way these things are making money, I got a line of credit on my house, and my house is paid off. I can get a big line of credit. I'm going to borrow money from this bad boy. I'm going to borrow money from this bad boy, and I'm going to put it into this thing. You know why? Because fucking Rajid, the platinum agent, said that I can't fucking miss, right? And so did Leo, Okay? So did Vinny. Like, everybody's telling me that I can't miss on this shit. This is pre-construction. This is Toronto. This is the top of the top, and nothing stops here. It just goes, right? And we got a little scare in 2017, right? Got a little scare in 2017, but I don't know really what happened. Things came back again, right? Things came back again, and we... the market was feeling like not so great, and like it could, something could happen. And it was like, what's going on? And then boom, right? All of a sudden, who? Alex Jones was talking about this virus on the other side of the earth, right? And then all of a sudden, all I'm hearing is boom, Rudy Gobert. And then the rails went off, everybody. Right? Everything stopped. And then, man, did it ramp up, because now you got this big ball of mess, and everybody's all fucking cranked up on real estate and just crazy. Fucking real estate and the thing. Ugh. Everybody's going crazy for real estate, right? And what happens? What? 1% interest rates? Are you serious? That's like, I'm going to borrow everything from everybody, and I'm going to just fucking go all in, man. 1%? This can't be beat. And so what do? We put just fuel on a crazy fire. And the fire wasn't crazy, but those embers were fucking hot as shit, right? Burning hot embers. And if you go camping, right? If you go camping and okay, you know how to make a fire, it's all about those embers, right? So it doesn't matter what's on top. What's on top can be kind of like, kind of fizzling out or maybe completely out, right? You go to sleep. But if those embers are hot, man, it doesn't matter. You put anything on them and boom, it bursts into flames, right? And that's what happened with COVID. It just fucking blew that thing up into a bonfire like we could never imagine. And all the fucking greedy fucking guys, all of us greedy fucking guys, went into overdrive, right? And some people, luckily, like me, I made it out alive. Back in 2008, I didn't, but this time I did. Right? Thank God for 2008 and learning that stupid lessons and losing every goddamn thing, because it protected me this time, because I had a feeling this time. I felt the wind shifting, and thank God I got out of this bloody thing and got into cash when all hell was breaking loose. Okay, it's been a while since I checked on the chat. I see Steve is shaking things up. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate your help. As much as I appreciate the shirt. Whoa, you guys are having a conversation here. I don't even know if I can catch up. Are we being somewhat civil? Pull up House Sigma, Dufferin to 404 and North Rutherford. It's already a gong show. It's true. Lots of inventory. It's a gong show. There's no doubt about it. There is lots of inventory. And nobody wants it. Dufferin County has so many crazy builds going on. It was like being in Whistler. Okay? I'm sure that means something to people out west. Lol, there has to be a cost of doing business or else blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, let RE implode. Okay, listen. RE is not going to implode. There's too many people, okay? Too many people that don't want it to implode. And I'm pretty sure, didn't it explode already? Didn't we lose 25, 30% in a lot of places, including Toronto? Didn't we lose? Like, isn't that a crash? Can't that just be the crash? Does it have to go according to your fucking bull chart, your bubble chart? Does it have to? Do we have to have the this and then the that again? Do we have to fucking crash again? Can't we just flood this market with a ton of cheap money again and let the good times roll? Why is that such a bad idea? Why do people get so butthurt when that happens? Okay, what's going on here? It's my own basement. What does that mean? Can I just see Dawn? Okay. Nice shirt. Dawn. Steve. Dawn. Okay. Steve, I kept calling you Ari asking for care. Steve, why no get back to me? It's my own basement. I don't know what that means. Yeah, eating meatloaf and pumping the market. Oh, that's not nice. I called too, Steve. You share with your Indian rental person. What? Teach us the way, Steve. Steve should call it in. Steve should call it in. Can I have a shirt? Buy your shirt, Don. Hey, Dom, did you buy a shirt from the merch store yet? Or how about a Make Real Estate Great Again shirt? Or what about all those other shirts I got? And all those other hats I got, guys? Hit that merch store. Hit the like button. What are you guys doing? Somebody, right now, hit the like button. Only have ladies' mediums left on. Betting that's not your preference. It might be his preference, but it probably doesn't fit. Personally, I am quiet. I'm a quiet fornicator. Okay. Something we learned about Dawn that maybe we didn't want to know about Dawn. Okay, let's see. As long as that's the truth, I accept the reality of the situation. Thanks anyways. Okay, about the shirt I guess we're talking about. Just check Dawn, only ladies, but I have a water bottle. Email me your address and I'll send it. Oh, we got a deal. I'm good on the water bottle. Oh, I'll take a water bottle. It can be on the Canadian Real Estate Show, Steve. Soon to be called, I don't know if you heard, but the front runner for the new name for our show is the Steve Karras Show. I don't know if it's going to stick, but it'd be funny as fuck, wouldn't it? Okay. This is the worst flat earther talk show I've ever seen. Yes, here comes the pain, Darryl. Here comes the pain, motherfucking pain. Daniel Smith has balls. Okay, so do a lot of the wives of past presidents. Shit Wrangler. Worst flat earther that you've ever seen. Okay. I mean, is the earth flat? I don't know. That's another episode, I think. We could talk about that all day. There is some good evidence that would make someone think that it's flat. I'm not going to name names. And I'm not going to give evidence right now. But, I mean, this is a discussion that I am definitely into. And I don't know the answer. Because, I mean, if you're on TikTok and social media, I mean, you got to be confused these days. You want low rates? Carney is your guy. I don't want Carney. I don't want low rates. I didn't say I want low rates. I just want a booming real estate market. Okay? I'm okay with 3%, I said. 3% is a nice rate. I like it. I can work with it. 4%. I mean, just keep it consistent and leave it alone. Why does it got to move every day? It's so fucking stupid. But I can tell that Carney is not my guy. I don't know who is my guy. I feel like everybody is lying and everybody is full of shit. But, I mean, who cares what I think? My bond ETFs want lower bank rates. Maybe. Listen. Why you got to be bearish, people? Where is the benefit to being a bear? Why not just buy a place, jump on the ladder, knowing that it's going up, because we all agree that it can just keep going up. Okay? Make Canada great again. Real estate great again. Prices up steadily. Not crazy. No more crazy. Again, if house prices go up like crazy, okay, Galen Weston needs to balance things out. Balance things out. It's a bubble. Tick-tock. Yes, it's a bubble. That burst. It bursted. It burst. We let out the steam. We took the foam off the talk. 8 to 10 times earnings. Welcome to Toronto and Vancouver. It's only there. It's not everywhere else. In Saskatchewan, is it 8 to 10 times earnings? In fucking Winnipeg, it deflated a bit. It deflated fucking 25% in Toronto. Okay, that's not a bit. In what was the city in Toronto that went crazy? Just went up like not and like Durham. Durham went fucking bananas. Durham got killed again because nobody really wanted to live in Durham, right? Fly, fly, little bird. Tick tock, tick tock. Okay. Well, listen. Maybe you guys are right because from time to time you are, but your timing is fucking horrible. And there's a lot of money to be made in between you guys being right. Okay? It takes no balls to be a bear. Okay? You're allowed to just say whatever the fuck you want to whoever the fuck you want, and nobody gives a shit what you say. And you can like sit there because everything you say makes sense to you, makes sense to me too, quite honestly. But it rarely happens because you know what? The market is fucking manipulated to death, okay? It is not a free market. Things don't work the way that they're supposed to work, and it's not fair, okay? It's not fair. It's not friggin' fair, right? Because they come in and they start buying up the bonds. That's not right. Still absurdly inflated everywhere. Maybe. But how many times, okay, how many times have bears said, oh, it's inflated, prices are going to come down, here comes the crash, and blah, blah, blah. And then what? Huh? Then what? Steve Karish says, everyone always says it's expensive. Watch some news stories from the 50s or 80s. It's all the same message. Exactly. Exactly. Watch everything. It's the exact same story. It's like somehow politicians never learn, right? From the 50s all the way, from the 20s up until now, the politicians don't learn unless they do. Unless they do. Maybe they're not trying to learn what you think they're trying to learn. Maybe they've learned how to just fuck us really easily and all of the time. Steve is correct, Rose Overdose says. Don M., who said he was never going to be able to make it here, and thank God is a staple of the show because this show needs a staple. It's really not good, to be quite honest with you. I don't know why you're here. I do see that we have a decent amount of people in here and not everybody's talking. Like, just say hi so I at least know who's here. I can at least thank you for supporting me on this journey of stupidity daily. Yesterday, I thought I could record the Canadian Real Estate Show for an hour and a half and then this for an hour and a half, and I almost exploded. My back is fucking broken. My throat, I want to die. And it's a lot. I thought I could talk forever. I thought I had the gift of gab, but like, who the fuck wants to talk this much? This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea, but I promised I was going to do it. Not to you, to me. And when I make a promise to myself, sometimes that promise takes 30 years to come to fruition. But I'm persistent. I'm persistent. But this time, just like Canadian Real Estate Show, I made a promise. This time, I'm going to try and do this daily and see if I don't fuck up my whole life. And if I can do that, this could be a lot of fun. But it's way more fun when there's more people in here. Who the hell wants to talk to 14 people? Like, honestly, for God's sakes. Okay, help me out. Like something, say something, do something productive. See, there's these little emojis. Look at all those hearts flying up the screen. Look at all those. Somebody press something. Not just me. Okay. Steve is correct. It's not the same, though. The proportion to income has way off. Okay. That might be true. And it may not matter. I mean, there are way more people in the equation, too. And so, are there enough people to be able to afford the prices, right? When you flood the place with enough people, I mean, it would have been smarter to flood the place with a bunch of people with a lot of money. Ideally, people with some skills, maybe some entrepreneurial spirit would be good. But no, we just brought in a bunch of Tim Hortons employees and thieves and scam artists and bastards. That's what we decided to bring in for some reason, right? Okay. Okay, let's see. It's not the same. Vastly increasing the money supply screwed every Canadian. This is definitely the case. Everyone shits on us. I'm just trying to get people ready. Don, I do not shit on you. I just think that, and I'm not even talking to you, actually. I don't even consider you a bear. Are you bearish? I'm talking about guys like D. Trent and Silver Chair here, the ball buster. Hey, Michael Pham made it. Finally. Hello. Maybe you've been here the whole time and just quiet. No, we're not shitting on you, Don. We love you, Don. You're going to save the show one day. But bears that are just super bearish and like can't even listen to nothing and just, everything's going to explode. And one day you'll see, like, it's enough already. Why is income to real estate price never adjusted to interest rate? I don't even know if I am smart enough to understand that question, Steve. Why is income to real estate price never adjusted to interest rate? How does that work? Okay, so rates are up. Can prices come down? They are coming down. North Thompson, 25% plus peak on holidays. Hi. Sup, fam? Steve, honestly, we could get together. I could show you MLS listings everywhere that are gross. Hello, everyone. Too many investors playing the market bails them out. Okay, so nothing going on anymore. I don't have, I have so much stuff that I wanted to talk about and literally no desire left to talk about anything. What do we got here? We got some zoning issues, but that's probably boring for you guys. Yeah, I'm bored. You guys must be bored. I think I've had enough for the day. Why don't we say adieu? Oh, we still got something going on in the chat, though. Hold on. Before I bail, let's see how this ends. 20% of the houses I'm looking at are empty. Okay? I'm in Surrey. I see gross listings every day. Most of my listings are empty. Most of your listings are empty. Why? Why are the listings empty? Thank you for your honesty, Steve. Say hi to TK. Oh, the man crush on TK? Why don't you just text the guy? Chat you later, D. See you on Sunday. Mr. Karish, thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Mr. Don, Chris, Rose, who else? Michael, always here. Guys, everybody, if I didn't name you, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Silver, Wrangler, Shit Wrangler, Silver, Chair, Rock the Casbah, everybody. Have a nice day.